welcome to my first video, and in this video we'll be seeing on how to create an iOS style button using CSS and jQuery. So that is pretty simple, and let's just see on how to do that. So first I'm just gonna show you what will be the output of this video. So let me just open up my browser, and here it is. This is something that we'll be creating at the end of this video. So when I click on this button, you can see that it just slides over to the right and the background changes to green. And so this is something that I'll be creating in this video, and this is actually the button that you can see in iOS devices. So let's just get started with this. And the first thing that I need to do is I'll just open up my text editor, that is Sublime Text, and I just have a folder named as iOS, and I have jQuery.js inside it. So I'm going to create a couple of files inside this iOS folder. So let me just use this here and open up this folder separately. Just gonna close that and maximize this. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a new file now, and that will be the index.php file. Index.php, and I'll also create another file, and I'll save that as style.css. So save it up, ignore this. And so the first thing that I'll be creating is, of course, I'll just add the basic HTML tags to this, and let this be the HTML tag right here, closing HTML tags, head, and closing head tags. Oops. And I'll just include the style sheet as well as the jQuery file. So first the jQuery file script source equals jQuery.js, and close this tag, and the style sheet too, in href to be equal to style.css. So I'll just open up my body tags, body and closing body tag, and just clear up the spaces. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna add some style to the body element, and that will be just adding the background image, the background color. Background icon color is F1, and let me just have a padding of 100 pixels. Okay, so just open up my browser and navigate to that page, iOS / and so that is fine. Let me just add a title too to just make it a bit more traditional, if you want to call it that way. So title, and close the title tags, and iOS button. Okay, you can have this whatever you want, as you know. And so the basic concept behind this button is that I'll just create a parent division, and inside that division I'll just have another child element, and that child element will be the round button that you saw on the demo. And so let me just create the parent first, div, and class would be equal to, let me say, bg, and close this div and create another child element inside that, div and class of button, close these tags, and then I just need to add some style to these div class and class of bg and class button. So let me just open up my style sheet, .bg, and background color of let me say white, and dot button to have the same background color, and then this I should give just like a width and a height. Width would be about 80 pixels if you want that, and height of 50 pixels. Just save it up and open up this, refresh this page, and here it is. Let me just extend the width to about 100 pixels, and that should be fine. And let me just add some border radius to create those rounded borders. Border radius of 50 pixels. That should be way too big, but still, yeah, this is fine. And then I just need to add some styling to this button too, but the thing that differentiates the button from the background should be you need to have like a shadow to just differentiate them. So just add the shadow too. So adding the box shadow property, and 0 pixels, 0 pixel, about 2 pixels, the color of K. And so you can see that this now has a nice inner box shadow. Actually that is an outer box shadow. Let me just change that to inner. Set, refresh this, and that comes to the inner part. And then I just need to add the same things the inner button too, but before that I just need to add the the width and the height of this inner button. Width to be equal to the same 50 pixels, and the height of 50 pixels, but no, let me just say this to be 46 and 46, so that I can just add the top and the left to be 2 pixels each. So this should have a position of relative, and top and left to be 2 pixels initially when the button is turned off, and when the button is turned on, the left position should be completely here, so it should be about 100% or 50%, and the top should be the same of 2 pixels. So let us just not mind about that right now. Let me add the box shadow too. Box shadow of this one is also an inset, 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 2 pixels, and let me just change the color to 333, darker shade of gray, and refresh this. Actually I just need to add the border radius here. Border hyphen radius of 50 pixels. Never mind. And so okay, that is a bit, I just need to add the top and left. Yeah, everything is fine now. Okay, that's good. So this is a button in its off state, and so what we need to do right now is we just need to create the style for the on state too. That is, this button should be here and the background color should be something different, the traditional green color that we see in iOS. So let me just create the button in the on state too. So button, let me name the class to be button hyphen right, or button hyphen on, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so it should be a bit different from this button in its on state, except for the position as well as the background color of this PG. So the position of left should be, I should just name it to be position relative, and position left to be about 50%. Let me just check that by changing the class here, button hyphen right. Refresh this, and I can't see that right now because I just didn't add these things in the box. I just need to add the same thing there too. Oops, 50%. Refresh, and you can see that the thing is right there. Let me just add about 51%. So I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So let that be 51%. Where is that? It is, yeah, 51%. So refresh this. Yeah, that is a bit more perfect, So the next thing is I just need to change the cursor to pointer. So let me just do that. We're adding the simple property, cursor pointer, and here another cursor pointer. Actually I'm not reproducing the code again, I'm just writing it again, and this is not a good practice, but still you can just change this to your needs and you can make this more code reusable. If you want to just add these two properties and add the class in addition to this class, but okay, leave that, and I'm just not going to deal with it in this video. So this is not the most efficient way. You can just use this code without reproducing it, by reproducing it, instead of writing the whole code again. Okay, so never mind about that now. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna in the on state what we need to do is we just need to change the background color of this parent to be something else. So I'm just gonna change that to green. So I'm gonna create another class called as green, just gonna change the background color to the green, and this is the color code of the green that I want to add. This is a hexagonal hexa code. So okay, nothing is gonna happen now because I just need to add the class here too. So green, and save this and open up the browser and refresh this again, and I just need to add the background color of this to be white. So let me just do that. Where is this? Yeah, background hyphen color to be #f. Okay, fine. So refresh this, and so that would be the button in its on state. So what I'm gonna do now is these buttons should initially have the classes. So when it is in the off state, this parent should have the class BG alone, and this child should have the class button. And when that is being clicked, this child should change the class to button icon right, and another class called green should be added to this parent class. So we can do that using jQuery, and so we just need to do the jQuery part right now. So script. Oops, I'm sorry about my typos. So type equals text JavaScript, and the traditional ready function. I'm sorry about my typos again. And then I just need to add a click event to this child class right here. So let me just add an ID for better referencing. Button, and this should have an ID of background. Okay. So click. I'm sorry. So click off this button. So I just need to reference the button, and this function should get executed. So what happens now is I just need to check if this button is having a class of button icon right or just button, and so I'm just gonna check that using this. So let me just add a variable class name. I'm sorry, class name, that should be equal to dot, need to reference the button, button, that should be class. Okay, so if class name equal to button hyphen right, and I just need to change the class. Copy and paste this to save some time. Copy this and paste this here. So what happens is, if the button is in on state, that is corresponding class should be button icon right. So if the class is in button icon right, then I need to change the class to just button. Okay, so I can do that by doing this, comma button. And another thing that I need to change is the background color of the parent class. So I can do that by changing the class of the parent to just BG instead of BG and green both together. So I can do that by doing this #BG dot attribute of class should be what can I say, just BG. And the else part, what I need to do is, if the button is already in off state, then I need to switch that to the on state. So I can just change it by changing the classes. I need to change the class of the button to button icon right. Yeah, and this to BG as well as green. So save this up and open up the browser, and let me just change the initial class to be just BG and button. So open up the browser, refresh this. So this is in off state, click on that. That doesn't change the class of the button. So what's the problem now? Button hyphen right should be the class. Okay, just a second. what is happening with my code right now. Open it up, and yeah, there is an error right here. Remove this, and if is there any other error, yeah, there it is. Just remove this another thing too. Save it up, open up my browser, refresh. Oh man, I need to change the class again right here. Yeah, another thing. I just hate this. So save this up and refresh it again. So now it works perfectly fine, but except for one thing. You can see that it just abruptly changes from the off state to the on state. There is no, like smooth transition. We can just change that by adding one single property. So go to a style sheet, and that is called as transition duration. Transition duration, about 1 second. So add this to every single thing. Here as well as here. Save it up, open up the browser, refresh this, and there you go. It is perfectly fine, it works perfectly fine. And so this is a CSS and jQuery iOS button, and you can just link this with another checkbox to just check condition or something like that using your JavaScript, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. So this works perfectly fine, and that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.